prophetic insight. Though she routinely denied having any such ability, every one of them had witnessed the strange phenomenon. Her emerald green eyes would gloss over and begin to swirl like there was a tempest within. Kind of like they were doing right now. Before he could call her on it, though, the swirling clouds stilled and her eyes were back to normal. "Well," she said, her infectious grin growing to epic proportions as she set down the pot and sat down at the table with him. She leaned forward conspiratorially and whispered loudly, "I'm pregnant." "That's great, Mags," Kieran said excitedly, reaching over to wrap a bear hug around her much smaller frame. "Mick didn't say a word." Maggie's face flushed a pretty rose color. The moment he eased up on his steel-like embrace, she rose and scooted back over to the stove. Kieran's eyes narrowed, immediately suspicious. "You didn't tell him, did you?" he accused softly. "I made some fresh strawberry cream pie," she responded, ignoring his question. "Even with the goddess buying most everything, I still have more than I know what to do with. I'll get you a slice." The Celtic Goddess was a high-end restaurant co-run by their sister-in-law, renowned chef Lexi Callaghan. Several years earlier, the Goddess had contracted with Maggie's farm to produce the bulk of organic produce used in their one-of-a-kind menu offerings. Thus far, the acquisition had been a highly successful and lucrative arrangement for all involved. "Maggie." "And I whipped some fresh cream, too," she added, pretending she hadn't heard him. "Nothing beats fresh whipped." "Maggie." "Or I've got some blueberry crumble still warm. We got a huge crop of the early ones this year." "Maggie." Every one of them, his 6 older brothers and their wives, knew that Maggie baked like a fiend when she was nervous or excited. He glanced over at the huge tubs of freshly made cookies and the tray of homemade cinnamon rolls she'd just extracted from the oven. Maggie wasn't just anxious. She was in full-on panic mode. "You sound just like Michael when you say it like that," she told him. If he didn't know her better, he would swear she was pouting. "Why haven't you told him?" His older brother Michael worshipped the ground his wife walked on and loved their son Ryan as much as any father could. Kieran couldn't imagine him being anything less than ecstatic over the news. She shrugged. A few more tendrils of dark cherry cola-colored hair escaped the clip with which she'd attempted to contain them, cascading around her face, coming to rest on the shoulder straps of the worn and faded full-frontal apron that had once been her great-grandmother's. Kieran had been so absorbed in his own worries, he hadn't paid her appearance much attention. Now that he looked closer, he could see that her skin was a bit paler than usual, and there were dark shadows beneath her eyes. "He's going to figure something's up, Mags," Kieran said, looking pointedly around at all the treats. "Yes," she agreed, drawing the word out slowly as she fixed him with big green eyes. "About that, you need to take all this back to the pub with you, or better yet, take it over to Lacey's. Her brother Brian loves this stuff, and heaven knows he could use the extra calories more than I can." Kieran's brows knit together, at least as much as they could on his smooth, boyish face. At 28, he could have passed for much younger. "You want me to lie to my brother?" "No, of course not," she said irritably. "I'm just asking you to not say anything just yet." He didn't miss the flash of hurt in her eyes and felt a pang of remorse for suggesting such a thing. She paused, and he could practically see the wheels turning. "Think of it like a need-to-know type thing, and Michael just doesn't need to know yet." Kieran's frown increased, prompting Maggie to add, "It's just, well, you know how he worries over the slightest things." That much was true. Michael did worry. Like all of the Callaghan men, he was especially protective of his wife, the one who had captured not only his heart, but also his mind and soul. And, given Maggie's pathological fear